How you doing, everybody? Yeah, we worked the second day. We're going to work it the rest of this week, just 1 or 2 more days in here. I stopped on saws. Those of you that I said, hey, do your saw Monday or Tuesday, it'll be like Thursday, Friday next week is when you'll get them back. You know who you are. I got a little 44 I'm going to finish up for a nice man out in Arizona. Him and his dad are wonderful people. Apache Indian. Better not let make him wait too long. I forgot your name right this second because I'm horrible with name, but you know who you are. I'll catch you on the next go around. I'll have your name. If I was in the other room, I'd have it anyway. Okay, we ended up getting a lot done today in here. I'm really happy about this. This is a crazy freaking workspace. We got another saw. I want you to see it, and I want to show you something. This saw's from Missouri. I think it's Missouri. This is what I like. Contact information. Even your address and stuff. But he got his name and his phone number. Sean Parker. Got your saw, buddy. Just so you ought to see it. Got one of them Canadian bluey mufflers on it. What do you think of that? Think about how to pull it. Freaking, they don't have a snotty nose. That's just a good way of packing them. Yeah, see, you got one of them. This is a nice saw. It really is. It's an X-Torque. We know what to do about that. It won't be an X-Torque. Some of you don't realize, you can get an old freaking X-Torque that don't run. You send that to me. When you get it back, it's a runner, and it's not an X-Torque anymore, and they're a good saw. The X-Torques are not near the saw. He took off his chain brake. Handle, good idea. Had the presence of mind to put the screw back in. Whenever you take things apart, put the screws back in where they belong. I think he kept his dogs probably. That's just fine. I got all kinds of them. That's no big deal. Son, I'm 2 weeks from being able to order parts. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. Well, it'll be the same day you see this video. And you can email me, whatever. We'll talk. I gotta. Was we doing a big bore? I think we were doing a big bore. We might have a better option for you. We just might. We're gonna see. Excited about it. I like building these. I really do. I've got a 385 coming in. I've got a 390 here, which you guys have seen. I believe if I can shake away from here for a while, tomorrow's video, which the day after this one, whenever it comes up, is going to be the next video. It's going to be about port mapping the 390. Okay? I'm going to cover that fully. I expect that to be right around 30 minutes. So if some of you get bored, well, I've got over 104 videos out now. I just got notified of all that. That's kind of cool. So there's other ones to watch if you get bored in one. But when we do that port mapping, that's serious. That's for the people who really want to know what it's like and how to generate good numbers, what the numbers mean. I'm going to cover that this time, what the numbers mean. When you move this or that, how does that affect things? You need to know how any work in any direction by changing timing numbers, what it does for you. I'm going to do my best to explain that as I go, so it will be long. I don't want to do it in 2 parts. If it's 40 minutes, so be it. As long as the darn thing will load, that's what we're going to do. Okay. I know a lot of you seen yesterday's video where that I showed this poor little room. Boy, I think you make them worse. I got one floodlight up here now. That's all I got. I was like, oh my God, I can't see it so bright. Yeah, it's screwed into a regular freaking outlet, or a regular receptacle. But here, you seen Buckins p51? Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, it is. I got some special news on that saw. It's Pioneer p51. They have actually a reed cage. I found out that Boysen makes a 2-stage reed for them. If that reed works good, I'm not going to suggest to Buckin we change that, but that can be done. That's not a hard thing to do. That's something he could even do. They just pull the carburetor out and it's right there. It's no big deal. I'm going to show you the saw again, and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm sorry. I want the saw. I don't need this saw particularly. This is what I want. I just something about it. I can't help it. You Matt guys are freaking nuts, and them home light guys, I mentioned that yesterday. Yeah, I appreciated that. I got it. I understand. Oh, I know what happened. They got the bug. I got the itch for one of these. And you know what's nice? Being in a chainsaw world, I'll actually be able to get one. I know I will. I might get it one part at a time. One time, I ended up with a hubcap for a 64 Mustang. Did you know I built a car around that hubcap? And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding one bit. Boy, the next thing you know, I ended up with a 64 Mustang with a 289. And a 3-speed. They didn't put 4 speeds in them. But it was on the floor, so that was... Guess what color Mustang that was? Just guess. Yep. It was red. It was convertible. Top was white. And it hadn't been run out. That was back in 1981. 1981 I got that. You know, I had a lot of cars. I shouldn't have sold them. I really shouldn't have. That's really something. I don't just work on saws. I work on sawmills. I work on circle mills. I run a circle mill for a lot of years. I done prototype work on bandsaws in the earlier years for them. Timber King is one of them. I worked for a company called R&R Lumber. Ron, if you're watching, I think last I knew you was in New Jersey, you'll get a kick out of this. If you are, Ron, leave a comment. You remember me. They used to call me Superman for some reason. And until I found my kryptonite. So they were sawing with a band mill in a big building, and they had sport equipment. It was electric powered, but it was a band mill, and they didn't have mud saws on them or demudders. I'm the guy that built that first one. I did the first one ever made on one of them, and I did it at R&R Lumber. Well, when you work for somebody, you know, whatever you come up with, you know how it works. It's theirs. Timber King reigned all over that. Do some research, you'll find out that's exactly right. Timber King had the first one. Everybody fell right in line. It wasn't even a new idea. My circle mill, I was an old American, and I was a left hand, and I'm left-handed, so it worked out for me. It worked great, especially where I had the mill. You just pulled the lever down. There was a saw. It dropped down. It'd run right ahead of the curve for that blade, make a mark, clean the log, take the bark off, and when the log passed at about 40 miles an hour, you just let it go and it went back up. And soon, just a little handle, brought down a saw about you big. So I said, well, why can't we do that to a band mill? Okay, well, when I sold my circle mill and I said, well, enough's enough, I'll tell you what I did. I said, I'm going to build my own band mill. And I didn't even know I had one of the bands left. But I figured it out. And the thing I didn't like about the band mills, they were way slower than the circle mill. Oh man, drove me bonkers. I mean, I couldn't get nothing done with a band mill. To this day, it's hard for me to run one. They're so slow. But I'm going to show you a band that I built. I had it built. It's a special band. See that crazy bugger sitting there? Yeah, that's a 3-inch. This is going to be a portable mill. That's a 3-inch. Yes, it is. We sent that band to New Jersey where they for test sawmill equipment, and that maxed out their machinery. He said that there was just no way that something like that ought to do what it's doing. But that's a band of my design. And I just got thinking, we ought to finish that up. We ought to just finish building it. It's going to be fully automatic. I mean, in a degree you've never seen before. It really was. How we doing, fellas? It looks a little different. I got a window on the south wall. Won't that be nice for winter? We got that. What, sleigh isn't in here? Sleigh's right outside. We're building a loft. Oh, I know. Yeah, we got the rafters up, little insulation. Here's our man doors going to be. I'm telling you, it's just like, what the heck's this guy? I know I'm an idiot. I get excited. And I'll tell you why. I got good friends and good people that help me. I help them too. But I get excited. I like a new project. I can't wait till we're in here. But I can take a few days, get as far as I can, at least be buttoned up so I can get heat back in here, because that's going to get cold really fast here now. You never know when. Northeast is the Northeast. It's not going to change. Been on the ball. Been losing weight. It's not a fast weight loss. It looks like I'm going to do about 10 pounds a month. It locked up there for a week. I got scared. I gained a couple pounds. I was like, oh no. And I'm religious about what I'm doing. But I do feel good. Now, I get rid of the rest of this. You guys that know me before, I'm not skinny, but I'm not as fat as I was. I want to give a shout out to one man. This is a special man. We've been through a lot of crap together and a lot of good times. Danny Frieden. He's a good guy. He called me today. I was in the military with him, and he proved to be a darn good friend. I actually went out there one year and worked with him and his family. They were grain farmers. His dad Wilbur was. And I tell you what, some of the best people I ever met. And I learned things. I learned things from people that knew things out there. I brought a few things to the table too. That was back during my drinking days. I don't know how they put up with me, but they did. And but Dan, just thanks. Just thanks. That's pretty good. There was another man. I know his grandson probably watches my videos and stuff, so I'll mention him anyway. He got in a bad car accident a few years ago. We'll call him Tiny. Those of you know who he is. Old Tiny. He was a good fella. He was funny. This is a story, so we're going to get right into it. The dark truth is stranger than fiction, isn't it? Well, he owned some river bottom ground around his house, one thing and the other, and he'd rent that out. And up there by Carson. Well, there was a whole lot of box elder trees that was growing around the bridge, and the county come to him and said, well, gee, Tiny, we want to cut them box elders from around that bridge. Do you mind if, we're going to have any problem? Oh, Tiny says, just go ahead. Well, I was up there helping him plane lumber one day. We got done, got in his pickup, and we went out and turned the corner, and he started going down through, and he says, what is them idiots doing? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I give him permission to go right there on the edge of these fields to cut them trees, but I didn't tell him go all the way down my darn riverbank and cut everything. I didn't want that. No, he says, and he had a good point. The erosion, you take them trees off that riverbank with that loamy soil, you get some floodwater, it just wreck a freaking field. So he stopped. He says, watch this, Harv. He goes over and the head county guy was right there. Tiny's all of a sudden teared right up, little tears coming out. What are you doing cutting all my European elders? Box elder did come from Europe. Well, what do you mean, Tiny? Well, me and my dad planted them trees along this riverbank. My God, he says, he's been gone a long time now. Oh, good Lord, this isn't going to work. Not going to work. Oh, he just a-crying, Tiny was. Oh, that county supervisor got all kinds of upset. He did. Oh, what do we got to do? Well, you know how things like that work. They paid Tiny for them trees. And he come up with a figure right on the spot. And boy, I'll tell you what, he got paid for them real fast. He gets back in the truck. We start going down the road. He goes, he said, they just learned something, didn't they? I said, yeah, don't screw with Tiny. No, that's not it. He says, do what you say you're going to do. Don't do what's wrong. He said, that was just wrong. I don't like that. He said, I honestly think I'm going to go down there and plant some more trees. I don't want that erosion there, you know. And so that happened. But I had my own run-ins with Tiny. I used to work for Harry, which is good friends of Tiny, and one thing the other, Harry did a lot for me at the time too. I was trying to get my life straight, and he knew it. And he was the only non-drinker that I ever seen that was so dead set against drinking that he'd actually buy me beer because he knew that I'd get all pouty and might not work the next day. And I was working hard terrain for him, and I earned every nickel. But them ain't days I'm proud of. It's just facts. That's the way it was. Well, I got paid production, and I also had, and that was skidding up on Tiny, and Harry'd say, yeah, do me a favor. He said, pull some firewood, you know, at the end of the day, just pull a hitch of tops or something, or leave tops on or whatever. He just, cause he did some firewood. He had an old feller that helped him. They did sell a little bit. Ain't nobody had getting rich in the first place, but he did it, kept him busy. So, well, anyways, I was in this awful bad spot, and it was mountainous, just huge oak. It was big. And there was no way to pull the top. They were so branched out, you couldn't, if you wanted to, you wouldn't get nothing done. So for a couple days, I didn't pull any. So I pulled down the landing with this great big oak. And with a little 440C skidder, you could take one log at a time sometime. At that time, it was taking 3 to 4 trees to make a trax with little logs. Those of you that know, I mean, tracks hold 3,500 feet generally of oak is what goes on them. That's some big timber. And I'd grab everything I could. And up on top of them hills, there's swampy spots too. You wouldn't believe it. Little springs, you know, so you're always losing logs in the mud. You know, you guys know the whole deal. I'm not going to tell you. So I pulls out there with this about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I had a particularly beautiful log behind me, and it was probably about, I think this one was about 50 inches at DBH, which is chest level standing. And it was an awful big one. I knew it took me like 3 tanks of gas to drop it with a 2100. So it was a pretty good sized tree. And I'd worked on it quite a while. So anyway, old Tiny got his little Alice Chalmers tractor, and he's over there in that log pile that ain't been scaled up. I got paid after they got scaled and put on a truck. I got paid footage. So he's over there dragging logs over. He's grabbing these upper logs, and he's going to pull them over there and cut them up for firewood. And I looked. Well, Barbara and I had just started dating good then. And got to know. We was friends for a couple years, just friends, and that was it. And I mean that. And it just somewhere, you know, things kind of clicked. Well, so she was there. She come over to visit me. She'd feel sorry for me. She likes to feed people, don't she, Eric? Eric Nelson will tell you. So she'd bring me something for supper. She just thought I'd go hungry, you know. And it wasn't like that, but hey, I was grateful, man. She's awful good cook. Well, so I get all upset at Tiny, and I grabbed that skidder. After I got the logs off, I only had to make $1, so that didn't take very long. I pushed the logs up, and he went to his truck, started backing it around. He's going to get his chainsaw out, and that old feller that helped him, I took the blade and I swung them logs. They had 4 or 5 in there. I swung and pushed them right up back in the pile. And I didn't say a word. I decided the best thing I could do, I knew where there was a little bench. I could go out there and get some ash and a little maple and stuff for him. And I decided at 4:30, at that time, you know, it gets dark about 5:30, you know, it was this time of year. And I didn't have much time to mess with on a log skid, so I went right up there to get him some firewood. Okay, because that was the right thing to do. I come back down with probably a 5-6 cord, you know, face cord hitch of firewood, and there Tiny got these saws, and he's got some more. He dragged them logs right back. Now Barb's watching this whole thing going. She'll tell you all about it. And geez, I threw a fit. I come down through this creek. I guy hit an upper gear, and I dropped my winch and let that cable free spool. I run out to the end of that, and I grabbed it so it didn't bind up on the winch. You guys know to run skidders what I'm talking about. And I started pulling that. I pushed in all them logs. Boy, they were standing right there. And I pushed them right back up, and I dumped them right over the top of the pile. And I backed up, and I had to stop because my main line started up under a rear tire. You don't want to go back up around. That's a bad deal. Tiny he's fit to be tied. Harvey, he says, what are you doing? I says, you ain't taking them logs, Tiny. He says, well, I own them logs. No, you own the standing timber and you own the property they're on. Right now, until I paid for them logs, you ain't getting none of them. Well, I need the firewood. I said, no. You work that out with Harry, but I'm going to tell you the one thing you ain't going to do. You want to sit there and you scale them, and you make sure I'm paid for that, them logs. I says, you can have them then. I don't care. So that's no big deal. And I said, I went up and got you a hitch. He says, he just looked at me. He knew I got him some firewood, and he got a little ornery with me. But he respected me for that. And I think the reason is he knew what I was dealing with without being told. He just wanted to cut some darn wood. And quite honestly, them frickin' number 2 logs, they were just pallet logs, but they were great big things. And it was a lot of footage. And grade didn't make a difference on my paycheck, but volume did. And he says, well, can you do something to get this firewood out for me? I says, yeah. I said, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to call old Harry. Oh, Harry, if you're watching, it was great days back then. At the time, it didn't seem so fun, but it was, wasn't it? And I says, you tell Harry that you need me to skid firewood for you for one whole day, because where I'm at, Tiny, I'm not going to be able to get it. I says, you let him know. I says, and you work that out with me, and you figure out what that's worth to you. And Harry, he's going to be easy with you on the skidder. He probably put a little fuel in or something. So Tiny did that. He told him, he says, Harry, your guy's going to get me some wood. He says, but you're going to give him a day or two. And Harry goes, okay. Those of you who know Harry, that I got it right today. Okay, sure. This is the way we did. We solve problems amongst each other. And that's what should be done, isn't it? It really is. I have got more logging stories than you ever would believe. I think I'm going to tell you one next video, if somebody will remind me, about the day that wild animals kept bombarding me. I had a freaky day in the woods to the point at 2:30 I left because of wild animals. Yes, I did. This is it. Hope you enjoyed the little story. Say hi to everybody I don't know. Y'all take it good for each other. Real good. And we'll catch you on the next go around. It'll be tomorrow. Bye.